says it's live, honey.
Kpro cow pow wow. Kpro cow pow wow wow. It's the Kpro cow pow wow wow. They wanna find the treasure, they wanna find it now. They are Kpro and they are cow. They're going over it and over it and over it again. This treasure hunt created by Forrest Fenn. Sing it! Kpro cow pow wow. Kpro cow pow wow wow. It's the Kpro cow pow wow. Marion and Indy are what they're like, although their real names are Christy and Mike. Can they pin down the treasure? They just might. Tune in to find out Monday nights. Kpro cow pow wow. Kpro cow pow wow wow. It's the Kpro cow pow wow.
All right, you take it away, Christy.
Okay. So Mike has spent the day at the dentist, and they had to stop because it was bleeding so much and yucky and terrible. And so he's on lots of medicine, and he talks funny right now. And I'm not laughing. I'm just feeling so bad. I went out and got chicken noodle soup, and I went and I made him mashed potatoes tonight. And I have popsicles no one's allowed to have but him. So I feel very bad. So he was not. Oh, and I have a little buddy here. He's kind of he's my
Brush your
left
teeth,
hand
Eric,
man.
every day. Brush your
So he's gonna be hanging with me because he's been here a little bit and he's my buddy. And so Mike is here, but he's not going to talk too much. Shocking. I am stepping up. I'm here for you and you and you and you and you and you. Uh, yeah, so everyone brush their teeth because when you have, I won't even go over everything he's had. I've never had a cavity, so I'm kind of scared because I've been to the dentist in a little bit. So I'm getting ready to go to the dentist, and I've never had one, and I think I have one because I have something going on here. So now I'm scared.
crowns, 3 crowns and a root canal, everybody. 3 hours in the chair. That was a lot of fun.
Turn that down. You got to turn it down though. He's watching us. Eric is watching us, so everybody be good. Yes, you're watching us. So be good, room.
Like Inception. Go ahead.
So here's what we've decided to do. We're going to say, ask us anything. But first, we want a thumbs up. Do this, Eric.
Did you buy yogurt? Somebody wanted to know if you bought yogurt for tonight.
I do actually have yogurt.
No, we're not recreating that video. So, Lou B, let us know what you asked him.
I guess he does reply to anyone. Okay. And yeah, I have some emails too. Okay. So this is Cal and Drugs. Any questions? Basically, it's starting to kick in.
Before we start, I just want to remind everybody to thumbs up the video. And if you want to help pay for the dental bill, Super Chat is on. So if actually this is Ask Kpro Anything. So you don't have to Super Chat, but if you want to show support, it's there. But yeah, Kpro is going to answer all your questions. And there it is. Thanks, Copper Dan. $5 donation from Copper Dan. I want to see Mike eat yogurt, maybe at the World Series of Fenn. We'll see.
Hopefully he'll all be better. Well, so I do have a couple of updates, but we thought we would let the chat room ask questions. Oh, look. Do you see right here? It says, "Hey, Eric, Grandma loves you." Hi, Grandma Cowlazars. Nice. Okay, so he's hanging with me. He's kind of my buddy. How do I? Oh, you're not signed in. You can't see the chat, but that's probably a good thing. We have somebody ornery every now and then, so I'll read them to you. How's that? Or go ask your dad how to sign this in. I don't know how to sign it in. I'm not techie like that.
He doesn't need to sign it in.
Yeah. Yeah, so you can't see how mine has a chat? Sorry, guys. We're hanging here. Okay, so I asked him if there was anything in the chest that wasn't expected. That's very interesting. And if you thought someone may have been there before him, ooh, Lou B.
And his answer was, I
I'd
don't
love to hear his answer because, yeah, he's doing a few of the. I don't remember how many pictures I took. I don't remember that. I thought, well, Sandhorn. So there's lots of. I do want to do a couple of updates with all of you lovely people tonight because a lot of you are saying you have so many of the emails. Why aren't you sharing them? I thought you were going to put them up on Thor, and I'm having some issues. So I need to talk to you about that. So I'm writing myself a note. But I also wanted to update the 1 foot searcher. I did want to update about kind of what happened. I think we're going to go over it on Thursday because Mike was in your guys's like thumper group. I wasn't as much. So I did go. So here's what happened. And Bobby D kind of, I think, leads the group or is a major part of the group because he kind of takes over when Mike's not able to get everybody going, meaning in Zoom. So here's what happened, and ask anything you want along the way, put at Kpro and I will try to stop and answer it. But I have a little bit of a story of what happened. So great US treasure hunt. If you have seen it and heard about it, it's $10,000 for different places around the US. We were all sitting in Zoom. There was about 30 or 40 of us in Zoom. And a group said, why don't we get a small group together? Anybody who wants to be a part. We're not going to have any deals, kind of no holds barred. We're going to put everything out there and whoever finds it, they find it. But we're going to just try to see if we can like put this together and solve things. So it was really cool because I think there was about 8 to 10. I only came in a couple times, but Mike was a part, Bobby was a part, and there was probably, I'd say 8 to 10 people. 3D Bronze was one of them. They worked literally around the clock. They had to shut off Zoom sometimes because it only went 24 hours. They recorded it. They had a Google Doc that becomes important later. And all of a sudden on, this would have been Saturday, I actually was taking a nap at about 10 o'clock and this group cracked it. And Mike goes, do you want to go boots on the ground? It's in a park about a mile from our house, 1.8 miles from the house. And I said, absolutely. I got all dressed. Mike was still horsing with the kids. So I'm like, we're out of here. Me and Sammy, boom, we went. Well, the final part of this, so if you know about the Great US Treasure Hunt, it's supposed to take you to an area, which it said North Las Vegas. Once they coded this out, North Las Vegas, El Dorado, and then Silver Z. That was, and one person in the group actually let David, the organizer of this, know. So I get there and there are 8 benches and 4 picnic tables. So I searched under, I searched around, but he kept saying exact spot. So I'm like, this can't be it. But this is the first one. So I'm like, this can't be it because this park is about, I'd say a quarter mile, maybe a half mile long, half mile wide. So I'm like, it just can't be bench. Oh, it said bench in the middle. So we had North Las Vegas, we had El Dorado, and we had bench, and then Silver Z. So yeah, the bench. I'm sorry, I forgot about that. So I actually had them on Zoom and I'm going underneath. You guys know we went up on top of this rock. We set one of the kids up. We had a great time. We actually thought this can't be it because it's too generic. It only gets you to about a quarter mile area, not an exact spot. So we went to the El Dorado sign, which is right down the way because it didn't say El Dorado Park. So we went down to the sign. Mike took one side that had a bench. I took the other side. And Mike, like, he starts waving something, and I'm sitting there on Zoom. This is recorded. You guys will see this on Thursday. And I'm like, he's got it. Wow, we won. Sadorn. No, we didn't win. So we went back down to the park. Go ahead, Mike. Did you want to say something?
No, I was just going to say I blame myself on this one because, I mean, when a partially decoded message from a treasure hunt says North Vegas El Dorado bench, you look at every bench. And I have video while we were there. Maybe I'll get it set up to show it on Thursday. But I actually have the camera and I look at the bench where you're at, and I look at the picnic tables and I go, well, that's a bench. Those are picnic tables. Those are 2 different things, right? But we should have looked. We should have looked under every picnic.
100%. Well, Mike said we're missing something because this is the biggest thing. This solution does not get you to an exact location. It gets you to about 12 different locations in about a half a mile park. So Mike said, if we're to believe the originator, and just like we say about Forrest Fenn, if we're to believe this, this isn't right because we can't. And now we're kind of getting confirmation, like we're in the right area. David was working or responding to somebody. Anyway, we know we're in the right spot, but we're just thinking that's not what he said. Exact spot. You're going to know Philosopher's Rock. You're going to know exactly. Well, the next day it was found by a person named Genetic Blend. If you're in the search community and do other hunts, you know her. She solves them fantastic. But we were there on Saturday. Kathy met me down there. We looked around, but it just didn't fit. So the really cool part about this is not that we got there first, which we did. We got the solution first, which we did. It's the first person to pick it up, which is great. I know there was some question of if somebody already emailed the right solution, don't they get a part of it? I don't know. I'm not a part of that because I wasn't a part of the solution people. I just love going boots on the ground. It was a mile from our house. We should have looked at the benches, even though just know this for now you have 3 more. It won't get you to an exact spot necessarily. It won't necessarily. There's 3 or 4 things that we're going to go over that might help you. So if you're working on the Great U.S. Treasure Hunt, tune in on Thursday because there's just some things to know that differ from what has been said.
That's the show you want to do then Thursday is on the Great U.S. Treasure Hunt?
Yeah, let's
do that. Yeah, we can do that.
Because we'll go over the solution because also the other piece is usually a cipher hits a pattern. This was more random. We'll show you how it kind of, it was cryptic. You won't know exactly what you're looking for.
There was no way to know what it was until you were there because at the very end, Silver Z could have been I or P. And there's no way to know that because there's no pattern on what letter you should use. So you just had to go look, basically.
Right. So the actual solution was random. There was no way to actually, was it a silver Y, a silver Z, a silver whatever, and there was no pattern of how to break it. There was words that you kind of came up with, which was really cool. I really still like the treasure hunt, but the only reason that we're going to give this feedback to the whole community is so you know, like when they say exact spot, don't think you're looking for an exact spot. So we'll give you some feedback on that. So Saturday night, we decided to head down and play some poker because that's what you do when you don't find a treasure. And someone won it. I won't say who. I'm not pointing to Mike. And then I decided, hey, I'm feeling good about this. I'll go over to a slot machine. And you guys see the slot machine. Hold on, buddy. You guys see the slot machine. There's a whole video. I hit kind of a jackpot. It was kind of cool. So
we'll show that on Thursday too.
Yeah. So not all. And then we knew by morning that, there was lots of people then out. We were there first, Bobby. We were there first. And if you guys want to see a ridiculous video of me jumping up and down, so excited about thinking that Mike had this dirty, grubby mask. I didn't know what it was, but he thought he had found it. No, we didn't. So anyway, we had fun. We missed it. I call myself the 1 foot searcher. There's actually a video of me walking literally by that one spot. And I just thought when he meant exact, that it meant that we were going to get 1 of 12 benches in a half mile, maybe like a 1 acre.
To me, a picnic table is different than a bench. Just me. Somebody said, well, it's the benches that are next to the picnic table. I just look at the whole thing as a picnic table. Whatever. Yeah. It was our mistake. Congratulations to Beth and June. Those are the ones. Beth figured it out, had June go get it. And congratulations to them. David flew out here. That's right. He was in Vegas, wasn't he, today? He flew out here, took a picture, gave her the big check. Still like the treasure hunt. Still going to work on the other 3 chapters. Big thank you to the Zoom group. That's the ones that cracked it. You guys did a great job. Gazebo. That's right.
They could have said
we're on to the next chapter.
Well, and Jerry Stone, because a lot of people said this, the Great U.S. Treasure Run had the whole U.S. to hide it, and they hid it near your house. That's nice. So we just moved, or Mike actually just moved about 6 months ago. This spot has been, I guess, out there for years. He says it's been out there for years.
9 years, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. So what a weird coincidence. When they said this was actually a park when we were looking for where Mike was going to be moving from the apartment. This was the park that the kids were in this summer. They were in the park in the sprinklers.
I was in that park 5-6 years ago, sitting on that bench. So little did I know what was there, and little did I know what it would be that we would miss. But that's how it goes with these rides in the treasure hunt amusement park. Sometimes it's not as fun as it could be, but that's our fault. So
no, but one of the coolest things is even though it was cipher-ish, I wouldn't consider it cipher heavy. That's the really cool thing. So though it's going to be more random and it's not going to be exact, and Some people said there's a parking lot within 500 feet. There's a parking space. You actually had to park out on the street and then go in. So we can just help with the little nuances maybe for the next ones. But yeah, does it suck that I was literally and Mike was literally within a foot or two and we didn't check it? Yeah, but is it awesome that this group, I think they shared so much. They had some lessons learned. Bobby, if you want to come on and talk a little bit about that, I think that'd be good.
But we'll
Anyway.
go live Thursday. We'll have a Christmas show Thursday night, and we will go over everything on the chapter 4 for the Great U.S. Treasure Hunt, and we'll also tell you how it would help. How it will help you on the other 3 chapters, because there's some things we learned on chapter 4 that will absolutely help the other 3 chapters. And you never know, we may reach out to you to go find a proxy item when we figure it out where it is. And I fully expect our Zoom group to figure out where it is. Just like we did on chapter 4. Yes, somebody else got there and found it, and that's fine. Congratulations to them. But the group collaboration is what I think really cracked it. The question I would have is, if the Great U.S. Treasure Hunt didn't release any clues, would somebody have still figured it out? Eventually, but I don't think it would have been figured out by Christmas. And I think that's what they wanted, is to give somebody a Christmas present. But without those clues they gave, I'm not sure if it would have been cracked or not. So it's going to be 30 days from yesterday is the next clue, right?
Not necessarily. Well, and that's one of the feedbacks that I know we got on our hunt. If you say you're not giving a hint until a certain day and then you do a surprise, some people were already planning on coming out here because they cracked whatever. There's a little but hey, the originators are going to do what they want. So I would say, don't think that the next one's a month away. The next one could be a week away and you just don't know it. So anyway, but stumpers. So some people have asked, I didn't know about this Zoom group. It's a little controversial because some people are not happy that a group of people have decided to get together on Zoom and try to crack it. No deals, and this is the group. And the group cracked it before anybody else, which is awesome. And then they said and there's no deals kind of thing. So I have sent anybody who's asked me to Mike to say how all of that goes, and some people were not happy that we were saying that this group actually cracked it and I was out boots on the ground. That steals other people's thunder. Not at all. This is like saying I had a forest fence solve and it was amazing and I got to go out boots on the ground. And guess what? I got nothing but a fun experience of screeching and yelling, which you will see when I thought Mike found it. So there you have it. So anything else on that? So that was our weekend, guys. And we had super fun at the casino and we had super fun with the kids. All the kids were out there, boots on the ground in the right place. We were just one step away. That's all.
And there it is. The Great U.S. Treasure Hunt, $8.88 on Amazon. There's still 3 proxy items, $10,000 each. It's a good ride, guys. It's a good ride in Treasure Hunt Amusement Park. I didn't know they were going to put it 15 minutes away for 10 minutes from our house, but they did, and we missed it, and that's fine. Hopefully we will get the next one. Because if I know Kpro, if we know exactly where the next one is, we may even get on a plane and go get it.
But like I wanted it to be Eldorado Park or something. There's so many Eldorados. So like literally it could have been any of the Eldorados with a bench. We went to 2 of them. So anyway, you're not going to be confident. Like Forrest said, you're going to be confident before you go out. You're not going to be confident on this one. Anyway, so there you have it. Zoomers, you guys rock. I will say I wasn't a Zoomer. I checked in a couple times because of Mike, but you guys really did the hard work. You guys were awesome, and you guys let me be a part of the adventure when I was like, let's go. And it was so fun. And Sam Lazarus was actually out there. The boys went home, all the boys, and Sammy and I were the ones out there for a couple more hours checking. There was, I think, eight benches, and then 4 picnic tables. We just didn't check the picnic tables. That was stupid on me. Okay, so do we want to talk Forest Fenn? Are any of you here to talk Forest Fenn?
Do we have any? So Mr. Clues treasure. I'm trying to think. Do we have any upcoming rides, upcoming treasure hunts? Mr. Clues is coming up. We think January. We don't have an exact date, but on the last show we did, he did tell us what the prize was going to be, and it's pretty cool. It's based on the board game Let It Ride, so it's basically train related and some really cool prizes. Let me look up his YouTube channel real quick. So there's that one. What else do we have coming up?
And I will just say, if you are trying to hit a good place to go for that is Target. Walmarts don't carry them. I'll just say we will. No, I feel bad, Bobby. This is the second one I walked by. I am terrible at treasure hunting, but I still have a blast, so I'm going to keep doing it. Okay, cool. So
Chasing Indy's puzzle. Tonight's the night, the conjunction of the two stars. We hope everybody had a chance to check it out. Chasing Indy's got a puzzle where you send in a picture. Check out Chasing Indy on YouTube. You'll see what that puzzle is. So
yeah, well, and I don't know what I mean, I think everybody's focusing on
yeah,
the
Kathy
great
went to the
US.
park as well. Yeah.
Oh, and did you see, this is another one, before we talk about Force Fenn. Johnny, did you see the first person sent in?
Oh yeah, that was pretty cool.
Oh my gosh. So if you guys that don't know, Johnny's Quest, they named it Great American Treasure Hunt, I think. There's a little competition going on there, obviously. And they are selling chocolate bars, and like 10 or 100, I don't know how many. Mike does the other rides, has these like Willy Wonka tickets in them. And this mom was sitting there with like her 3 or 4 kids, and each of them had a candy bar. They opened it, and then the little girl or boy opened it and said, "I think I got," and she's like, "Shut up." I mean, she was so excited. The kids were jumping up and down. It was really, really awesome. Hey, Mike, Matt wants to know if the beacon star is solved.
The beacon star is not solved, and we definitely need to do a zoom on that and get back to a lot of these other rides. If there's popped up, we've been spending our time on. We need to get back to our old friend, the beacon star. It's like $7,800 in Denver up for grabs from somebody. So, yeah, that's probably the cheapest treasure hunting book on the market. $7, everybody. The beacon star is $7 on Amazon. Treasure hunt in Denver, Colorado. Our friend Randy Pitchell. And there's Mr. Clue. Mr. Clue, various ounces of silver, train silver, USPS train stamps, collectible box, Civil War currency with trains on them, and Amtrak gift cards. Details any day now. So shout out to Mr. Clue. Go to Mr. Clue on YouTube and subscribe, and then you'll be alerted when it comes out.
And you can just click on his name right there if you want to go over and subscribe. Oki Tarman says, what was the proxy item? So it was silver Z. It's a little silver, like one of those you put magnets that you put up
on a car. They said it was like a car emblem, like a Z from a car. So approximate value of Mr. Clue, $1,300. And that is a absolutely 100% free treasure hunt on YouTube. So that's awesome. Oh, thanks, Jerry. Jerry says I bought the Player One game for Box One for my parents for Christmas. Hope they like it. Thanks for the suggestion. Yeah, Box One was a lot of fun. If you like escape rooms, if you like puzzles, Box One is a good one to get.
And Susie T says, I want to know if Forrest was okay, Larry, in chat, please. Susie, I can tell you from my knowledge, Forrest never was able to figure out how to comment on YouTube and get in. I tried to help him once on his computer. I set up on his desktop a link to Thor because he had a really hard time getting there. He had Chase Chat and he had Harry's. Those were the two that he had set up. He had I do think he had some ways to look at Facebook, but he was not a Facebook user. So there you go. There's my 411 on the different media or social media that he was a part of. But so no, I do not think he was ever commenting on any YouTube, but he did watch them quite a bit. He had a really hard time. He was also Forest Fire, but that was over on Dale's, right? I think he was. I didn't look at a lot of the comments. So, but I think you're right. I think he was Forrest Fenn, and then he was on Thor. We just set up an account because people were trying to spoof him. I gave him his sign-on credentials. He signed on one time the first day. He never signed on again, and you can actually see that on Thor if he signed in. He did sign in. He actually stayed sign in on Harry's because there were some issues that were happening he wanted to keep aware of. And Harry's has, if you're signed in and a user, there's a private area, and that private area is where most of the interactions on Harry's goes on. And he wanted to see what was happening kind of on the not so great part about the chase. There was a lot of drama between the two forums at that time. So I know he signed in a lot.
Chasing Indy says he commented on my channel. It was Forrest Fenn, but how do you know that was Forrest and not somebody else? Somebody else brings up he was Forrest Fire on Dale's blog, wasn't he?
Right. That's what Alan K said. Yeah.
So a couple questions. Sure. Alex says I'm late to the party. Who won? Solved chapter 4. Beth, Genetic Blend, solved it and had somebody she knows in Vegas go get it. Alex, it was right there, but me and Kpro missed it. unfortunately. So yeah, that's solved and it's on to the next chapter. And Chasing Indy says, I still have a box 1 to give away. So that's awesome. Box 1 is a lot of fun. So give that away for sure, Chasing Indy, or do a puzzle or something for it. But it's a cool board game. So yeah, Forest Fire as well, Alan. That's right. Okay. The chase is nothing but drama, Chasing Indy says. That's nothing new. It's nothing new.
Yeah, and he dealt with it for 10 years. I'm just thinking right now. So let's transition to Jack. Jack's kind of talk of the town right now. Jack is, I think, probably seeing what Forrest had to deal with the number of emails. I've had a lot of people send me their emails. I've seen a lot of when Jack's saying, wow, I can't answer all those questions. People have 10, 20, 30, 50, 100 questions. So I think he's getting inundated. He's trying to answer everybody. So okay, let me break away. Jerry Stone, you said we could ask you anything tonight. My question is, tell us what you think has happened to Forrest Fenn's computer. Can the family read the old emails? What do you think? Share. From what I believe Forrest Fenn's computer is still, because there's open litigation, I believe that they are keeping it. I believe they should keep it. This is just a guess. I believe if they needed access, he did not have, I can tell you when I was there, he didn't have a password protection to get on his computer. Like I lock everything down so kids can't get it without my fingerprint or whatever. I don't think he had any of that. And I don't think he had a password to get into his email. His email just constantly flowed. So I believe, but this is nothing, like don't use it in court if you're trying to sue him. I believe they still have access if they need it. And I think they can get, I think Zoe could get access since she's the executor. But I don't know, but logic would tell me that the family still has it until everything clears. That would be my guess. So what do you think, Cher? Okay. Did you see what I posted about Jack asking for Forrest's permission? I have a really good lead. I do not. I've been trying to play catch up today. Guys, shh. So no, I don't know what you're talking about. So tell us more, Chasing Indy.
Yeah, I didn't see it either, so I don't know.
Yeah. So what other questions you guys have as I go? So put at Kpro if you want me to read it. Let me go back to Jack for a second. So I think Jack is answering emails as quickly as he can. We already have some, guys, shh. We already have some contradictions from what Forrest said and what Jack has said. But I will say, I think the most important thing to know, there was some controversy because there was a person that emailed for Jack and said, are you going to be selling the solution along with the treasure chest? The answer to that is no. There was some miscommunication. He answered a part of it. It's kind of like Jenny's questions when there's like 14 questions within one question. You can just answer one part yes. Does that mean yes to all 14? Okay, I'll answer that in a second, Ellen. And so there was miscommunication. I emailed Jack and said, you're given the solution? He said, absolutely not. And I said, well, here's a screen capture of the email that was posted on Thor. And I kind of went back and forth with the person. And he said, the email is legitimate. I took it. There was a part that was redacted with the black line. And that unfortunately was the part he was answering, I guess. I didn't get into the person's personal situation. So that is, hey guys, hold on a second. I'm having a hard time hearing.
Full house over here, everybody. Full
Yeah, but only the two oldest ones are being loud. Did you see? Okay, I've seen two different pics of Jack. Which is the correct Jack? Okay, if you mean that there is one Jack that's, I think a pretty slender, older, meaning 30-ish. That is the same Jack that I think was maybe a little bit more heavier set in his mid 20s. It looks like he went through a life transformation. So good on him. If that's what you mean. So there's one that he was like on CNN as a political person. And then there was like his recent ones with Forrest. Those are the same person. They are just two different times of life. There you go. The Antiquities Act, Chasing Indy says. I have no idea what that means. So you need to do a video on it, Missy. Alan K, are you Forrest Fenn? I am not. I am not Forrest Fenn. How do you like that? No. So I would just answer it because Alan K has the best questions. He answers yes or no questions like WWWH, we found out, was warm and it was water. Isn't that awesome? Because of him. So, so no, I'm not Forrest Fenn. And for those of you that have the controversy or conspiracy theory, Forrest is still alive. I don't think there's any way that Forrest is still alive, my opinion. So I believe Jack had to get Fenn's written permission to retrieve the chest because it fell into the Antiquities Act big time. Actually, you know who would probably agree with you? I think it was Sassy. Sassy talked about that before, not being able to resell without his permission or something, or the type of coin it was in there. I don't remember the details. I just remember something about that. Do you remember that, Mike?
I do not really remember that. The Antiquities Act, chasing Indy, saying it's legal to collect artifacts from private property if you have written permission from the landowner. That's not okay. It may be. I've never heard of that for the Antiquities Act. But here's a question for you. But the problem is, if you, well, okay, we can go down that rabbit hole if you want. Here's a question, Kpro. Do you think Forrest Fenn's den looks exactly the same, or do you think some items have already gone wherever Forrest Fenn wanted them to go? Do you think the bookshelves are empty? Do you think the artifacts are gone? Do you think everything's exactly the way it was still?
So I think Forrest was already liquidating quite a bit out of his den. The last couple visits I had in, let's see, doesn't matter when, we didn't spend much time in the den because he was liquidating a lot. I know several people who bought quite a few of the items, so that was already gone. As a part of the executor's duties is items that are supposed to go to heirs are given. From what I understand, that has been done, but they're not going to they can't liquidate like the house and other things. Anything that's under kind of the controversy because of the, I believe both of the lawsuits that are active right now have both filed against the estate. And so until that is cleared, they will not, like anything big, I think. If it's something small, like a book or a this or a that, that's one thing, but I do not believe they will liquidate anything. Like, I don't believe they can sell the house because if they were going to sell the house because of the pending litigation. I did see the probate paperwork that went, that Zoe filed, and it does call out both of the lawsuits. And so it's still kind of up in the air. If you have an open litigation during an estate that's sizable, you use as much caution, because what could happen to the executor is, let's say they liquidate everything and give everything out. And let's say later, let's say in the Arizona case comes back and says, sorry, you have to pay him $1 million, and the executor doesn't have it. I know for my mom's estate, they held back so much until everything was settled. So I think they're going to use that same caution. If they're smart, they would use that same caution.
So Susie Simex says, Kpro, has or is any part of your show been directed by Forrest? Some strange things have been happening lately. Has Forrest ever told us what to go live on or what to do?
I will say never ever, but I'm going to give that a caveat to that. Sometimes he would give me words to put up on Thor, kind of like the Jenny words of the Dale scrapbooks. And he knew when I did that, it would kind of direct what we're going to talk about that next week. So I always wondered if he gave me something for Thor that would be important to what he wanted to either direct. I don't believe in a lead searcher, but whoever to focus on. But any of our shows, Mike, can you think of one time that
no. We go live on what we want to go live on.
Yeah,
Forrest
there was
never directed anything in that way. You know what I mean? No Forrest ever said, you got to go talk about this, whatever.
I will say, so the kind of drama that's happening right now between tubers or wars or whatever they're calling it, I'm not in a war, so I'm not fighting, so there's no war. It happened about 2 years ago, and Forrest and I did talk about things were getting so heated and so personal and so inappropriate. He did ask me if I would consider stepping back just to kind of let some others maybe take, they really needed maybe YouTube a little bit more than I did. I love coming and seeing you guys. I have a blast, but it's not my full-time job. I don't make a living out of it. It's not something I needed. So when I took that break 2 years ago, if you guys remember, things were getting really, really ugly with a few people, and some people were overstepping, both Forrest and I, in both of our lives. And so he said, can you just go silent for a little bit? You can go on other, or could you, because it could help all of us, because it was really yucky at a time, worse than now. And I didn't think things could be worse than now. So, Susie, I hope that answers your question. Oh my goodness, Kpro cracks me up. Forrest Fenn alive. A lot of people are thinking that conspiracy, they're getting the FBI involved. I think there's no there. Maybe him and Elvis are down in the jungle room planning a song. Jerry, there is a forum right now discussing exactly this. The forum owner believes it. They say they're getting the FBI involved. Oh, Mike, Ben says, let's out the source tonight. Ask Kpro anything.
So Chasing Indy says, bring up the Antiquities Act. But Candy, when I bring up the Antiquities Act of 1906, it's pretty much the act that gives the federal government or the president the power to create national monuments and to protect federal lands, historical landmark. There's nothing about, unless you're talking about a different Antiquities Act, I don't see anything about personal, giving somebody something off of personal property. So.
Well, no, but put together, you do the best videos. So put it together and walk it through. I think that'd be awesome.
Chasing Indy. Yeah, go ahead and do that. Yeah. But what her point about it is that she believes Forrest Fenn owned the land, and that Jack had to call Forrest because to get permission to go on his land and retrieve it. And then she thinks now Jack owns the land. That was the title to the gold. But yeah, maybe.
That's interesting. I'd love to have an address.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, right.
So Redneck Express says, and I do want to clarify this because I think he brings up a great point. Okay. That's funny, Ben. I did not know that's who you were. Okay. Redneck Express says the hunt ended, so there was obviously a lead searcher, right? Right?
Question mark. What does that mean?
No. Okay. So there's this whole controversy about the lead searcher. Forrest was talking to the lead searcher. So it caught fire about a year and a half ago. Lead searcher. During our November 2019 interview, we asked, is there a lead searcher? And Forrest is like, define that. You guys thought I defined it wrong. I did talk to Forrest about this quite a bit. There wasn't a lead searcher except for people in their own head thinking they were the closest. There is technically a person that was the closest to the treasure chest or the furthest along in solving the poem. But 2 years ago, there was technically that, but there's no way for them to know. So it was just, he called people pompous. Like they just needed their ego stroked on a forum. Coming in, I'm the lead searcher. No, I'm the lead searcher. No, he thought it was ridiculous. And he said it very eloquently, but he hated the term. He was like, I'm so over it. Like no one can know. So why do they have to say that? The forums we talked a lot about, because obviously I own one. The only reason I own one was because of Forrest. He asked me to start one. I started one to just kind of keep kind of a more focused aspect of the chase, not all the drama stuff. And for the most part, Thor tries to stay in that line of communication. But people needing to focus on, I am the lead searcher, the rooster, if you will. He hated that. He just did not like that people needed that and caused so much negativity because of that. So there were so many lead searchers, JBR Princess says. That's exactly right. Anyway, remember Fenn told me 11 things had to happen before he was in the chase. It was a very busy mad leading up to the release. Yeah, and he told me, I think it was 9. I don't remember the number. Yeah, he told a lot of people there was a lot of things that needed to line up. And that could be, I actually think it was getting into Yellowstone. It might have been Peggy. It might have been getting to that place. Like, let's say it was in DeLacy, getting there, actually being able to walk out, walk back, etc. That could be it. I don't think it's DeLacy, but that's just an example. But it could be. I mean, I don't think we'll ever know. And so a lot of people are questioning, why isn't Jack going to say anything? I honestly believe it's something more. I believe it is truthful what Jack has said, that it is because he doesn't want the place trampled. But I believe there is something more to it. What do you say, Mike? What say you, Cowlazars?
I don't know, and we're never going to find out. So I don't know why Jack doesn't want anybody to know. I don't understand why he doesn't want anybody to know. Yeah, There's ways around everything. You can control it. You could do guided tours. It could be protected, etc. There's ways around it. Yeah. I don't know why he doesn't want anybody. Or I guess the real reason would be some kind of legal issue if it was in Yellowstone, etc. That makes more sense to me than just, Forrest didn't want anybody to go, destroy it. Well, then why did Forrest do a treasure hunt where 300,000 people would look for it? But whatever, it doesn't matter anymore because we're not going to know the answer. So if you don't believe Jack, then you're never going to believe anything anyway. So,
but could Jack reconsider later? In my opinion, he's not going to, because it's going to risk the treasure chest.
Yeah, he
it's
could.
more than just what he said. So
for me, I believe after he sells the treasure chest, has the money, let a year or two go by, then maybe you put out the solution, because he doesn't feel liable for anything. The treasure chest is gone and all that. So
yeah, I don't know the statute of limitations on whatever the situation is. It would be interesting. So let me answer a couple more questions, and then I'm going to give you where I think we're at right now. Forrest Fenn passed away before Peggy. The estate went to her, correct? Does this change anything legally? Jerry, no. He set up a trust. Had a long conversation with him about this. My mom's estate had some controversy with it. And so I learned a lot because I talked to him about that when my mom died. That was where I had a lot of connection with Forrest, but I would ask him about some of the controversy and things. He was very smart about how he set things up. I don't know if it's exactly the same as when we discussed it, because it was probably, I want to say maybe 4 years back. My mom I just had the 9th anniversary of her passing. So no, Peggy and Forrest were equal, but everything was in the estate trust, etc. So, and that I think is public now. That's how it was filed in court. So you don't want to personally own anything, especially if you're talking about a considerable amount. You don't want the tax man to get it. You don't want probate to get it. In my particular family situation, there was an irrevocable trust. There's several types of trusts and reasons why you do that. But anyway, but legally, was she taken care of? Of course. But it was not like person to person. Like Mike and I get married. If I die, I don't have a trust set up. If I die, everything goes to him just because of beneficiary. Trusts are a little bit different of how it's set up, and you have executors and that sort of thing. Okay. So he just sent me an email as well. Lou B said, from Jack. Oh, wait. Okay. Jack sent me another email tonight. Said there are not 2 solves, not one armchair, then one boots on the ground, just one solve. Thanks, Ben. Yes.
What does that mean? One armchair? It's always been boots on the ground. You have to go boots on the ground to find it.
No, what if it's like ours? You have 2 different. Well, let me read the whole thing. From Jack. Thanks, Ben. Yes, that's the perfect word. I took a holistic perspective even when I was focusing on a particular part of the poem. Now, I don't know what that means. So it sounds like to me, now let me surmise all of these emails, because I'm going to need your guys' help. Because there's no way I'm going to have enough time to put all the emails that I've gotten up on Thor, because there was just I thought he was going to answer a few questions. He's answered hundreds of emails. So somebody stepped up and said, why don't we just set up a Google form? And if you set up a Google form, you can update it and just put it on Thor and put the link. And I emailed that person back maybe a week ago and said, yes, can you help me? And I haven't heard back. If you have enough information in your skill set to be able to help me, I don't have any problem forwarding. And then we just get out to the whole community. We know there's going to be shenanigans. We know there's going to be some people that are going to say, this came in and Jack said this and he didn't say it. Maybe we could ask Jack to look at it every now and then and see if it is the case, that sort of thing. Anyway, that is what I would ask of all of you, is so if you do have that skill set, reach out to me and hopefully we can connect, because a lot of people are anxious to see all these emails and some of them are awesome.
Jack's answered over 100 emails, but has he given any answers? See what I did there? I guess some of it's good stuff.
It is. Well, it depends on what you're looking for. If you're looking for closure, I have to tell you, for me, I was looking for closure. I still had that little bit of hope that our source actually knew Jack, and the GPS solve I really like the GPS solve, y'all. That's the whole reason I put everything out there, and we traveled and all that. Jack was not, oh, I can't really say. Jack was, I do not know this person, and I gave him our source's name, and Jack said, the GPS solve and is not correct, not how I solved it, nor is GPS even a part of the correct solution in any way. He didn't like sugarcoat it. He said it flat out. So for me, that helps so much. And I know a lot of people have been doing that same thing. I know there were some people that thought it was like at Forest House. He clarified that, like, no, it's not Forest House. But again, you have to believe in him for him to, yeah. If you think he's lying, there's no reason to ask him, because some people aren't happy. Like, you didn't really find it in Wyoming. And he's like, no, I really did. And they're like, no, it's New Mexico. You're a liar. And he's like, okay. Like, I've seen some combative emails that have gone back and forth. It's like, if you don't believe him, then just, unless you're going to sue, just leave him alone, I think.
And that's the problem is, if you ask him anything about the location or the solution and he answers it, well, he's not going to give you, he's going to lie. He's not going to give you anything. So I don't know why he would answer it, but yeah. Yeah. I guess it's better that people have somebody to email than not having anybody.
Yeah. So can we go over Jack's responses to the blaze? I don't have all the exact wording up, but basically he said the blaze was broken. It could not be read. He used those words, damaged, and it could not be read in the appropriate rate to get to the exact spot. There was a lot on the blaze that has been questioned. It's so funny because Forrest always said, stop worrying about the blaze. And then at the end, that was what made the issues. I believe all the clues were geographic features, especially the blaze. I believe that as well. I know somebody asked him, how far was it from WWWH to the final location? And he said, definitely too far to, I won't say the exact distance, but definitely too far to walk, which I thought was interesting. So you kind of get, I hate to say this is like exciting, he came out, and then it was again anticlimactic with, okay, we're not going to get a lot. We got some, and he's, for what he said he was going to do, I think he over delivered. He was going to answer some emails. He answered tons of them. And what is it now? I don't know. He has alluded that he's going to do another set of questions on Dale's. In 6 days from now, I think Dale's is going to go away unless something has changed. Can you give
questions on mysterious writings?
No, that's not what I
Oh,
meant.
on Dale?
Yeah. So the last one he did was 6 questions with Jenny, but he has said he's going to do another set of emails.
Jack gets mail. I got you.
Right. And the only place he's done that is on Dale's, but is Dale's going to go away in 7 days? I don't know. Yeah, I'll put that. Okay. Did you have cell reception at the GPS solve? Lou B, kind of. No, we didn't officially, but we were in this like huge hovercraft of a awesome vehicle, and it like hooks up to satellite or something. So I think we had reception, but we were able to communicate, let's just say. Now here's something interesting. Jack's email 8531, I have not checked this, blah 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 blah, means,
I can check it right now.
Means Jack hid cache, HIDCACHE. It just anagrams to that. I don't know. Any thoughts on the number somehow heading up to it? Yes, Ben, that's what I just I just said. Yeah, somebody messaged me that and said, can that be a coincidence? Anything can be a coincidence, but that's pretty cool.
It's definitely not a coincidence. He did it on purpose. I'm looking through right now. So we've got 8 equals. So here's the letters we got. See if it anagrams to hid cache. H E C A H E C A I H C D. Yeah, it does, doesn't it? HIDCACHE. Yes or no?
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. So those numbers, if you just simply change them to letters by their position in the alphabet, then his email spells Jack hid cache. It's an anagram, but it is there. So that's interesting. So did Jack really hide something somewhere, or is he just messing with people? We'll never know. So actually, somebody emailed Jack that and asked him, how come nobody's asked Jack that question? Or if you have, let us know what his response was.
Okay, so Milan asked, did you say that Forrest held your hand and seemed like he wanted to come clean about something? Paraphrased. If true, can you expand upon this? Yeah, so this would have been after the solution, after the hunt was called off, because this was July, mid-July, I think. I was supposed to just get a couple minutes. He wanted to meet the kids. He had presents for the kids. Met him at his home. So anyway, um, and we spent maybe 10 minutes with the kids. He talked to each of them, which was fantastic. And then when he came up, and it wasn't like holding hands, he just was like, we were closer. We were both in mask. He was, and it was kind of one of those like this. And he's like, do you realize, I want to thank you. And I was like, okay, what did I do? I said, what did I do this time? He's like, no, let's put away the joking for a second. I was like, okay. And he just said, I've really realized who my friends are through all of this. And you had a lot of controversy around you. And I never knew for sure, but you've really been, you've been a positive for me. And then he just kind of expounded on a lot of reflection, um, about life, about the chase, about a lot of things like that, um, and the effect this has had on the family, the effect he knew had on me. He wanted to see if some of the things had subsided that was happening. We talked about that. I asked him kind of what was next, and he did talk to me a little bit about the lawsuits were taking a toll, and that was what was kind of delaying things. We just needed to kind of cooler heads needed to prevail. And he was just so genuine. Like the guard wasn't up anymore. I don't know if he knew he had days left, um, or what, he had a month left. I don't know. It just was really real. So that was. I'm trying to think. Was there anything else? Um, Nothing of substance. Um, Talked to me about a few things we personally have talked about, like in our personal lives, but nothing. It was a really real conversation. I'm glad we connected, and I'm glad he got to meet the kids, and I'm glad he got to give them like my daughter wears what Forrest gave her all the time, and David has his locked up in a safe. It's just awesome. So
Susie asks, Kpro, did Forrest ever say that you were mentioned in his will? Did Forrest ever say you were mentioned in
I
his will?
understand. I'm just trying to think through how to answer it.
It's a yes/no question. Go ahead.
Why are we doing this? Let's go. No, we never. No. Yes, no question. You get the no. That's it. Okay, next question. Cell reception matters. Would you leave the treasure, hike back to the cell reception, send an email to Forrest, wait 30 minutes? Luby, it's actually a really good question. If I would have driven in as a basic human being, I would have had to drive all the way back out of the park, get into West Yellowstone, if this was DeLacy, wherever it was, and actually have to connect there. I couldn't have done it there. From what I understand, Justin's huge vehicle was able to connect or satellite, whatever, and he could maybe have sent a message. We didn't try, but I think it's possible. Let's see. And I only say it's not a will. There were some things that he wanted passed on to particular people, and I don't know if it was called out in his will or not. And I don't know if that ever happened. And okay. On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the Phineas finder, where would you rate Jack? So what I know of Jack, if he got that obsessed to the point that he didn't want his like family or work or anybody to know, he didn't say it just like that, and he spent 25 days out, I'm putting him on 9, 10. Not social. He seemed 100%. Like I put Mike on the scale of pure solver, and I put myself as like an 8 between social and solver. I was really into it, but there was a time that dropped off. I'm really into the forest fed hunt, but it's not as much into pure boots on the ground kind of thing.
Matt's got a question. Kpro, have you been contacted by Fenn's estate that there is something in Fenn's will for you? Good question, Matt.
No, I have not.
Okay, there you go.
Okay.
Coming at it as a lawyer, which yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I mean the question's yeah, wait, let me make sure I answer that correct. Yeah. No, I have not been contacted. Let's get on a different subject, you all. Thanks for the experience. Yeah. Any insight on the project F was working on that he mentioned in the 2019 interview? I believe that to be there were two things that I knew because later I asked him which one is it, and like I didn't ask as a yes or no. So I said, so is this the children's book that's coming out, which we all know is now named Artie? I said, or is it your autobiography that's getting finalized? And he just looked at me and laughed and said, "You're getting better at wording questions." That was off camera. So those were the two that I knew about, but it could have been many other things that we know now. Have you been contacted? Okay, we already read that one. Hesitation a lot because David, when it gets into the will and gets into those sorts of things, I know that we have some maybe negative eyes out there, and I don't want anyone to say that I lied later or anything legal to come up. So I'll just say from a legal will standpoint, no, I've had no community. I'm not involved in any of that. I won't say I'm not involved with the lawyers and things because there was a time that some things got really icky and kind of still is on some legal stuff and some people that overstepped. Like I think you all know it was what, a year and a half ago, somebody tried to kind of blackmail me to make Forrest to call off the chase, maybe 2 years ago. And it was crazy because Forrest was like, I can't do that, right? And I'm like, I know you can't. And it was my own thing and it was a searcher and he was a little off. And so I've been tied up in stuff that I never wish I would have been tied up into. And that's why I want to be very thoughtful about the things that, Forrest said a lot of things. Like I know Forrest had said to several people, like, oh, I want you to have this or that. But that doesn't mean it's anything like tied up in a will or any of that. We talked a lot about like how to make sure things go to the rightful people and all of that, but not related to him. It was more kind of like my mom's situation. So anyway, that's why I'm hesitating because I want to make sure I don't say something wrong that later then could be. So there's not a there is all I'm saying. Did Jack say he spent 5 minutes in the treasure and put it back? Yes, Luby, you heard that right. 5 minutes is what he said. And that doesn't make logical sense to me unless he was directed, which we know at this point that it seems like he was directed. So many searchers in the chase are off. Yeah, there's a lot of people that, yeah. Why ignore Jack? Who's ignoring Jack? Ben, who's ignoring Jack? Fenn isn't adding searchers to his freaking will. Yeah, okay. Why ignore Jack? He is in the picture with the chest and Fenn. Yeah, to me, this was pretty much as open as possible, of now solidified as an ending as we're going to get. I wish we did have the solve, but
Bertha says, at any time did Jack ever post his find on YouTube and then remove it? She asked the same question earlier and said that Jack posts pictures of the treasure chest on YouTube and then remove it. I've never heard that. Have you?
So I do know for other reasons, when somebody posts a YouTube and deletes it, there is actually a way you can retrieve that still, even if they've deleted it, which is crazy. I didn't know. So I wonder. Yeah, why did so many people have to know if I'm in the will? No, I'm not in the will. I'll be very clear about that. Everyone has been notified as a part of the process. Everyone that is in the will has been notified. Okay, go ahead.
Kpro, if he left you anything, obviously it would be the solution. So, I'll leave that.
Well, I heard the frog was missing and then he was disappointed because Jack was like, I need the frog. And he's like, but I have it for Kpro. That's what I heard. And, Jack, if you want to send it, it's okay. It was missing. Or I'm going to get some ring that's missing out of the treasure chest. Thanks, Forrest. Thanks, Jack. Love you. You guys are silly. No, I wasn't as into this as you guys think. It was. Yeah, I just think, oh, that's funny. It's funny. It's funny.
Yeah, Ben says, imagine if AGK had Jack on in 2019. That would have been pretty cool.
That would have been awesome. Yeah. Well, I mean, it is Ask Anything. That is true. And that's why, but you guys go. So I don't know. It's you guys. Oh, yeah. This is fun. There's nothing wrong with this. But I mean, there are a couple of things I probably wouldn't answer just from a legal standpoint. But yeah, but I mean, it was just different. It wasn't like that. There wasn't any. I did ask for something. You guys didn't ask, but I did ask for something. When Forrest asked me, when I spent all that time on the Jamie Jordan drawing, and that's how I met Mike, so it worked out. I got the best treasure in the world. But he said, "Do you want anything?" And I said, "I'd like one of your books." I said, "Which one's the most important?" And he goes, "Which one do you think would be my favorite?" And I said, $17 a square inch. And he brought me out $17 a square inch and American Dolls. Those are the two he brought me, which was really cool. So that's the only thing other than what the kids got. Oh, I've gotten a few other little things. Like I got one of the Sacagawea dollars from his, like little things, less than $1 kind of thing, here and there. Oh, and pottery shard and those sorts of things over the years, but nothing considerable. Nothing like, I mean, he didn't say, "Hey, Sitting Bull's peace pipe's all yours." Like I would have been okay with that. So anyway, now real quick Q&A. Was there any bit of information you got from Fenn that you use sleepover sharing with the community? Yeah. And I think some of the legalities, and how his personal world tangled, or his personal struggles. Anybody that says the family was in support of this treasure hunt, they're wrong. They're wrong, because I've spoken to the family. They're wrong. And so I think I struggle with that because it's nobody's business, but it's so personal. And that's the reason that I wouldn't want to say it. But there was a lot of discussion about that. I mean, they struggled. And so they didn't support this because their granddaughter almost got kidnapped and taken for ransom as the treasure. So, I mean, things like that. They wanted it called off, I think, years ago. Just my opinion. And so, things like that, just the personal side of things. I don't think anybody knows how ugly it really got holistically, except for the family. I don't know. I know a lot of pieces of it, but I don't know. Nope, you couldn't find this frog. Okay. Which clue do you think was the most important to confirm you're in the right area? Minus the blaze. It has to be WWWH. It has to be, right, Mike?
Well, how do you can never confirm you're in the right area. I mean, until you find it. That's the only way you know. That's what Forrest said, right? You never know if you have the right word WWWH until you find a treasure chest. So there's no confirmers along the way.
What was your favorite private moment with Forrest? Like when you remember him, when do you think? I will definitely say that was a Cynthia Meacham moment. Cynthia, so I always tried to visit him with another person there because we didn't want any of the controversy that he unfortunately had been wrapped up in with other searchers. And so I was there with Cynthia, and he didn't care. Cynthia, he was open with me, as like Cynthia was trustable. We could say anything. So we were just that whip back and forth kind of thing, where he would say something and I'd zing him and he'd zing me back. That was my favorite moments with him because it was just fun. And when he was like, he told some stories, but sometimes he'd look at me and go, "You don't care, do you?" And I'm like, "I totally care. This leads to WWWH, doesn't it?" And like, he would just laugh. He's like, "You're always a character." He's like, "Never lose the sense of humor." And I did for a long time. And so there was a couple moments with Cynthia that I look back at and go, "Oh my gosh." Yeah.
There's a
So,
good one from Rusty. If you were to figure out the proper solve, would you make it public, even if it could cost Jack possession of the treasure chest?
ooh, that is a good question. I lean towards no because I do think that that's what Forrest would want. I lean towards no, but it's complicated, maybe, but I would say probably not. What do you
I
think,
would.
Mike?
We did when we thought the GPS solve was correct. So I absolutely would go live with whatever solution. If I have some kind of evidence or proof that, more than just, oh, this looks right, I would absolutely go live. Nobody would believe it, so I don't think it's a big deal, but I would definitely go live with it, just like we did with the GPS solve.
Well, there you have it, guys. Mike sometimes wonders why I don't tell him some stuff on the Forest Fun hunt. Now I know that.
Yeah.
Um,
Sorry, Jack. Tell it while
That's
you
interesting.
can is all I got
Well,
to
now
tell you.
that we know that it might risk him, if it was just the solution and maybe it was on Forest Fund property, but wouldn't make any issues, I'd probably say yes. If my current belief is right, that it would actually cost him the treasure chest, I might not, but I don't know. Milan said, did Forrest ever discuss with you his personal beliefs related to Indian legends, folklore, and mythology? Yes, we had long discussions about that. So my kids are registered Cherokee Indians. It's from my ex-husband's side, so I don't know a lot about it. We also had a pretty significant discussion about religion, the Bible, religion, etc. I can tell you this is why he says he's spiritual. He believes the American Indians had figured it out. Like that is how you connect, that is how you do the right thing. That is how
Medicine wheel.
That is how you
Top of the
do.
wheel.
I mean, talk about the Sitting Bull's piece, about all of that. We had a long discussion, and I can tell you, he told me early on, like the Bible verses, all of that. He had a major donation to a church. And I was like, how can you majorly donate to a church and you're not as into religion? He said, I'm very spiritual. And that was Peggy. And Peggy really wanted to give to that church, which I totally got. But we had a lot of discussion. He did not focus on organized religion or the Bible in the same way as spirituality. And really, that's what connected him, in my opinion, to the American Indians.
Dallas Cowboy says, long time, first time. Mike, where you at on the impossible treasure? Best wishes. If by impossible treasure you mean the impossible treasure hunt on YouTube, solved them all except the cipher. Nobody that I know of has solved the cipher. So if you, Dallas Cowboy, have solved that cipher, which is video clue number 2, I think, make sure you email me the solution, would you? Cowlazars@gmail.com, or at least give me a hint on how to solve it. So if that's what you mean, and just waiting for more videos. Actually, let me look it up. I haven't looked up that YouTube channel in a while. It's called The Impossible Treasure Hunt, and it's another one that's absolutely free.
Okay, give me just a second. I see ad nauseum says, so about Theodosia. I'll give up Theodosia tonight. I'll give up everything I know, and it might cause a controversy, and I don't care. I'll be right back.
Yeah, nothing new. The Impossible Treasure Hunt still has just 3 clue videos, and that's it. I did email them at some point and said, hey, you know, where are we at? And they basically said, solve the cipher and get back to us. So somebody's got to crack that cipher. Maybe we need a Zoom on that. So there it is. You think Forrest could have ended the treasure hunt and had the closest solver, Jack, retrieve it? I think Forrest could have. I don't think he did, Susie. I'll give you my opinion. Has been all along. Forrest could have ended the treasure hunt whenever he wanted to. It was his to end and go back and retrieve the chest. I do think he should have gave everybody advance notice to say, on this date, I'm going to end it. You know, get your boots on the ground in, or whatever you want to do. But I don't think he did. No. Those blazes on the trees were feasible to remove, though. Well, look at the word feasible, Ben. So in other words, I think what they're talking about is with the GPS solve there by DeLacy Creek. There were 2 trees that had big square notches cut out of them. Okay. And then when Forrest says it's not feasible to remove the blaze, but certainly possible, I believe he said feasible means you don't cut trees. In my opinion, you don't cut trees in a national forest. You're going to get in trouble in Yellowstone National Park if they catch you cutting into a tree. And I mean, these were big. These were big cuts. It's not like somebody just had a pocket knife. This is like with a hatchet. So if you get caught doing that, you're going to get fined, I would think. Yellowstone National Park is protected. You can't just cut down trees. You can't mark trees. So personally, I thought Forrest used something that was already there, but just a guess on my part. You back, Kpro?
I am. Okay, let's go through the rest of the chat and then we'll be done for tonight. I know you've been hanging in there. You need to ask me ad nauseum what you want to know about Theodosia. I will tell you. Kpro, Jack would not tell me the size of the blaze. Why do you think he didn't want to share that bit of information? I think he knows that we are starting to data mine each other's answers. And if he gives up too much information, we're looking at those slip ups, right? And we're looking how we can patch stuff together. In my opinion, that is what he's trying to do at this point, or trying to avoid at this point. So I don't think he wants to know. A lot of people ask, what's the blaze then? He won't say. But it seems the most intriguing. My opinion is Jack wants to put out everything and he can't. David, and he can't. So for whatever reason. 5 minutes and put it back. 30 minutes to get an email response from Forrest. If he had cell reception, he would have sat at the treasure for 30 minutes. So maybe no cell reception at the blaze. I agree with you, Luby. I also think, why did he sleep in? He knew he was going to go for. How could you sleep? I'm sorry. I'm such a different person. If what he's saying is correct, I'm such a different person. I don't know. I would say no, but low key would give people the answer without them knowing there were answers. I would have said, okay. Very helpful to me. Okay, you're welcome, Alon. What did your game? Okay, I'm too far back in chat. You guys are laughing about things. There are 16 miles to carry. We've got a full tank of gas, half a pack of cigarettes. It's dark out, and we're wearing sunglasses. Ad nauseum. I don't know what the solution is, but I don't know if it's in that PDF. I know somebody who's real close, or at least communicated with the person that's doing that hunt, which is H. Charles Beale, and he's told him he's the only one that's been even close to cracking it. So, and this was just recent in the last week and a half or 2 weeks. So, I don't know. What was damaged about the blaze? I have no idea, guys. Think Jack had to go somewhere to retrieve written permission from Forrest, and I'm not referring to New Mexico. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think we have enough information. Even if we had every single answer from Jack's emails, like maybe those get subpoenaed or whatever, I don't think we're going to know that unless he's required to. But here's the thing. Here's a question, Mike, let me ask you. If you give out your real solution, you're going to lose the treasure chest. You get sued by someone that says you're a stalker, but you don't know her at all. And you have to give up the real solution. And that's going to cost you $2 million. Do you give it up? You have to by court order, but do you?
Yeah, no, I don't. Well, I never would have came out in the first place. Like, and also if so, you're trying to put me in Jack's situation. If the Fenn family knew my name and all that, I would have let the Fenn family do whatever they want, but I never would have responded to anything. In other words, you give them my name, try and figure out where I'm at. You do what you got to do. I'm not going to put out an email and do an article and all that. It's just me personally. I would have disappeared, but if I could, I mean, I don't know the full details, but if I could, if the court forces me to, and I believe I'm going to lose the treasure chest, well, all you can do is get an attorney and fight it. I mean, you know, there's two sides to every story. So we'll see which attorney's better in court, but, you know, that's all you can do. Yeah.
On Theodosia, I tried lots of different things. The biggest one was I contacted H because this is much like the Forrest Fenn hunt. He gave me lots of hints that were outside of the actual, everything that I got was not within, like Carrie. How'd you get Carrie? He said it was in Carrie, and he said it was because it was connected to him personally. He has a daughter that lives there. I mean, there was a particular area that I looked because of his, just the personal thing. So most of, and Mike and I tried to look at it, and I gave Mike all the stuff that I got from H and all the stuff that was in the actual puzzle. None of it connected. So it was like, we can't figure this out. So I personally think some of these little hunts are PR for the bigger hunt to come up. So he might be looking for a particular, yeah. So Susie says, Forrest did say big news was coming out in 2020. Was that the big news? Did we miss it? Which one? There's no way he could have known about COVID, in my opinion, when he started saying that, because he said it as early as July or August. I think it could have been the Artie book. I think he could have been doing PR again. Remember when he had his gut feel? Everybody went crazy and he said, biggest surprises are coming. That could have been the big 10-year. I don't know. I don't know is the answer. If he searched for the treasure for 2 years, then that means he got lucky in the first solve, because Forrest said he only had one contact with him in 2 years. O.T. Brown, it's worse than that. Someone asked him and forwarded me the email that said, from when you got TTOTC, when you finished reading TTOTC to when you solved it, how long was that? Guess how long that was, Mike?
How long was that, Kpro?
2 weeks. So he solved the Forrest Fenn hunt in 2 weeks. He got down to the blaze, and that was supposedly the first boots on the ground. And then he spent 2 years. He knew the spot. That's why he never gave it up. And it was the blaze that was broken, or damaged, and it wasn't pointing in the right direction. So he had to read it differently. He had to read it like it was pointing there, and that's what took him so long. And that's why he was so frustrated. Oh, very important. Yes, very important. Asked me, this was in somebody else's chat. He is moving to Idaho Falls. If you guys knew Tony Henman, he used to live there. But if anybody else knows, very important in the chat. But if you know of anybody that can rent an apartment room, something, he's getting ready to move there, job related kind of thing. And he needs kind of a lead. He'd rather not just do something generic. So message me or email me, kpro3@aol.com, and I'll get that. It's very important. So Idaho Falls, something for him to be able to stay. That would be awesome. Thank you. Thank you for reminding me. Very important. Why hasn't Jack spoken about the fake blaze at all since the Medium article? He's only spoke about damage. Then he's put out a bunch of stuff around it, all in these private emails, which I personally think is totally the wrong way to go. I don't get a judge. Jack, I'm nobody, so don't listen to me. But I think now, David, people are shenanigans. Some emails are getting questioned. Some things are contradictory. I think it muddies the waters. So,
Dallas Cowboy says, thanks for the info. This is the first dip of the toe in the amusement park. So you're saying you figured out the keyword to decipher clue number 1 and can read the resulting text. Yes, if you're talking about the impossible treasure hunt, yeah, email me. I'll tell you. I'll go over it with you. I'll tell you what it is. Cowlazars@gmail.com. And I will say, remember to subscribe, Dallas Cowboy, and everybody else out there who hasn't subscribed. We just hit 4,000 subscribers, trying to get to 5,000 subscribers. And hopefully it doesn't take 3 years like it did to hit 4,000. But I think when we hit 5,000 subscribers, we do something special, Kpro, whether it's another grand adventure or something else. Yeah, tell all your friends to subscribe. Make sure you like the button. And we're here. We go live twice a week about the treasure hunting amusement park and all the different treasure hunting rides.
Yeah, well, I think we'll blow up huge if some of these documentaries go through. So I'll talk about that. Right now, I know of 7 or 8 documentaries that are being made. I think a couple of them are going very dark, very shenanigans, very negative. And there's a lot of aspects of this hunt that are related to that. So that is one set. There's a couple that are going very related to searcher stories, etc. And then there's a couple that are going real higher level, talking about the chase, talking about certain aspects of the hunt, but also both the positives and the negatives. How did this end? How are we going to know that it actually was? The legacy portion, kind of like a real higher level, but dives in. I kind of put it the 20,000 foot, but has a few of those army men that jump out and they deep dive as well, which is kind of cool. That I think a couple of them are going to go independent. I think there's been quite a few pitches to the big networks. I think one of them is going to absolutely happen, in my opinion. So there's a ton going on in this community now more than ever. He studied enough of Forrest in 2 weeks to notice a slip up and solve the poems and get the hints from the book. Wild. Yeah, I actually don't think he probably studied him until he got to that site and then went, something's wrong. Why am I not cracking this? Wouldn't it have been crazy if he was in the hunt for 2 weeks and that was it? That would have been crazy. Just looking at the history of Theodosia and her father sending ciphers back and forth and the letters made me think it's perhaps one embedded in the text. That'd be interesting. I didn't go that route. I don't know. Sent ad hominem unless you are ad nauseum. It's way too late. I don't want to text this person, but he texted me a few days ago. I know somebody hot on the prowl for it. Send me an email at kpro3@aol.com and I'll at least connect you to see if he wants to connect. He's been working on it for a while.
Chasing Indy's YouTube channel in the chat, because you hit 1,000. See, what happens is sometimes when you hit a certain benchmark, like 1,000 or 4,000, certain people unsubscribe to be jerks. So it sounds like Chasing Indy's back at 990. So everybody could just go over there to Chasing Indy and hit the subscribe button. I know she would appreciate it. She does free puzzles. She does free treasure hunts through her videos. So yeah, if you guys want to support Candy, go over and hit subscribe on her channel, Chasing Indy, and I just put the link in the chat as well. I thought you hit 1,000 already, and then it went back down. So you'll get there. Trust me, you'll get there.
Yeah, there'll be some things that will happen in the chase community that they'll bubble back up. So, and that's the fun part of this. And it's funny because
for your call.
Eric.
So that's one thing that I think a lot of people are like, Force Fenn wrecked the entire treasure hunting community forever. No, Masquerade had a similar ending, like a really bad, like, oh, it wasn't good. A lot of these treasure hunts don't have great endings. And that's okay. We still love them and we're still addicted to them. I don't know on this one. I'm going through my own process now that Jack has come out, what all this means for me. I think the documentary is teed up in a way for me. It's going to be a huge endeavor. And I'm even like, ooh, there's so many pieces to this, so many parts of this. So I did want to talk about the 2 lawsuits. The last update that we have on the, yeah, thumbs up for Eric, guys, thumbs up. Let's talk about the Arizona case. The Arizona case did have to do a reservice to Zoe as executor. They tried to serve her, it seems like, at her home in the evening. And the process server came and a gun was drawn. Like, she's in a safety situation for a variety of reasons, and they're very, very real reasons. And so I don't know exactly all what happened, but now Erskine has filed an ethics violation against the lawyers. I didn't even think that they had to serve particular people if they had lawyers, but I don't know enough on any of that. I believe the other case, the Chicago case, I think it's in motions and responses. There's been a ton. It's kind of hard to follow. I don't quite understand it all. There is someone that allegedly has emailed the searcher, Barbara, on that, and now she's had to block her. And then I guess the searcher has reached out to the judge or tried to file something. I don't quite understand all of it, of how, if you're not a party, can you be in it? So that one's just kind of watch those have taken so many turns, that particular case. It's interesting to watch, but it's not, I'm not understanding enough of it. There's just so many pieces to it. So it is quite amazing, the turns, just the number of motions, reading through it all of those differences. It is, yeah, and I know a lot of people have opinions about it, and I've had my opinions about it. It is just so, I don't know. The 2 cases are just so opposite. Erskine doesn't say a word, doesn't talk to anyone, and just kind of keeps quiet. And then on the other case, it's all in the communities, it's all on YouTube, it's all in the forums, and it changes all the time, and it's just so I think it's tragic. So totally stop listening to Kpro. Too funny watching the entertainment on Cal screen. There you go.
I think Eric's had some sugar today or something. He's all about it today. He says, subscribe to Cowlazars. He keeps wanting to play Fortnite and for me to put it live on YouTube. So I haven't done that yet. You never know what might happen this weekend, though.
Yeah. No, he's awesome. He's just been having fun. He actually subscribed me to a Galaxia type of thing with the spaceships, and we've been having fun doing that today. So, okay, other questions, and then we're wrapping up, guys, because we've been going an hour and 20 minutes. So any last at Kpros before I say sorry? And Mike, I feel so bad. So we'll make sure all dishes and everything. Usually Mike does dishes.
I'm going to bed. I'm getting a melatonin lollipop and going to bed. And speaking of lollipops, everybody should go subscribe to Chasing Indy just for the lollipop thumbnail. That's all. If you go to that link, you'll know what I'm talking about.
Now
Legos
everyone's
are
going to
here.
go to the link no matter what.
Minions, Legos are here. All right.
Yeah. So know that we're still going to, I still want to do some focus on the forest Fenn hunt just because Jack has so much information out. I think it'd be fun to review those emails, see what's out there. I think I will try to call you after this, Indy. I'm trying to get kids, but I will try to call you. Yes. But yeah, add me on. Ooh, Fortnite. He's a player. What is the last thing you heard from Shiloh? I don't know if I should share this or not. How much he was devastated. He knew his grandpa would go. I mean, at his age, I think they knew he was devastated, guys. Like, he's a strong man and he lost. I think his family is very important to him. The people in his life, his other relationships are very important to him. His employment, I think, his career is, I think, important to him. I don't think he realized the impact of the reality of his best friend, his mentor, his grandfather, his business, person that taught him business. He articulates really, really well. And the last communication I had with him was via email. He was devastated. And add that now to so many other things happening that are negative and him needing to spend time. Like, I remember when I was like, are you going to put out something to the search community? And he's like, trying to get my head around what's happened. And he just needed a hot second for himself dealing with the stuff he was dealing with. So it just made him be more real. He was so real in his emotions. I just thought, yeah, this is mini Forrest Fenn. He was just so real. He was so real, and he was, I think, true. Devastated is the only word. He was truly devastated. So, anyway, sorry, that was my grandparents had already passed by the time I was born. Both of my parents were the youngest of a lot of children in a farm family. So my mom died when I was in my 30s. And so it was unexpectedly. And so I totally get where he was coming from because you didn't get that, I don't know what his last words were, the last goodbyes. That's what you always think about. So anyway, that was, yeah. So hopefully, I think as much as people say Forrest deserved this was for, I actually see a little bit of, Forrest knew how big this could get and how crazy this could get, and he could call it off anytime. His family couldn't. So I think his family's, some of you don't see that empathy to his family. I do. And it's the holidays. So why don't we all just, yeah, I don't know. I'm just more focusing on being so grateful because I know that's what Forrest would be saying. He knew how hard I stumbled in life, and he's like, one day you're going to look back and laugh and be stronger about it. And that's this Christmas. This is our first Christmas together. And there you go, right there with the guy that just makes me smile every single day. Oh, thank you, sir. Thank you. Because we don't have our, what were we thinking? We're sorry. We call Eric our
Thursday
supervisor.
night show.
Yes, we're gonna. Yeah.
There it is. And
Yeah, I have a really hard time, Maria. I will tell you lately, and I need to kind of think about things. Really putting anything out there because I know some of the negative will come out of it. Of, oh, you're trying to grandstand or the, and then I need to remember like 80% of you want to hear something like this. 80% of you want to hear that story or that that one connection. Like Jason Northface was, we were on a YouTube a week or two ago, and he was like, I thought it was so cool, those first couple of stories. And I was like, okay, I need to do that a little bit more. So yeah, so before you all sign off, thank you for being an awesome community. You all have made my life happier place over the past few years. Thank you and happy holidays. Yeah, like that's, I can tell you, I hit rock bottom of my entire life in the middle of this hunt, and the community is the only thing that got me through. Even if it was just, I needed somebody to go into either a chat room or back before YouTube exists on live shows. And I just needed like the forums. I went in one night. My mom's birthday is New Year's Eve. I never went out on New Year's Eve until I met Mike. And I hate to say I had pity party. And I went into into a chase chat the one night, and there was 3 of us, and we were just but we would just refresh. It was all night long. And I just needed companionship, and I felt alone. And it was the greatest night because I got through it because of the chase community. And it was the funniest 2 people because it's just funny. There were 3 of us. We had fun. So that's what this community has been, and we still are. Now we're splintering, and I think I mean, Mike and I are even splintering when it comes to the hunts. I'm still kind of trying to get over the forest fen hunt, and Mike's like, I'm done. He's like, he's like, let's get on to U.S. treasure hunt or this or that. I don't know. So. Okay, I don't know what that means. Okay, so it's been an hour and a half. Mike, what else do you have to say?
If we don't see you Thursday, or if you don't see us Thursday, have a very happy and Merry Christmas. Yes, you have a Nintendo Switch. Thank you, Eric. Have a happy Christmas. We will probably go live at some point Thursday. Make sure you subscribe and hit the all on the bell. Then you'll know. I'll set the link up probably the day before, maybe tomorrow. And then, yeah. What? No idea. Yeah, that's Eric. So thanks everybody for tuning in. And yeah, we'll see what new treasure hunts. We got a lot of treasure hunts come up this year because the forest fen hunt ended. So we will see what new treasure hunts we get next year. I'm sure there will be some. Maybe one will finally be the successor to the Thrill of the Chase. We'll see. Yeah.
And I actually don't think it necessarily needs to be $1 million. I think it needs to be like Tumble Bear Load got everybody all excited so quickly. It does need to be, it needs to be somebody that is willing to deal with the shenanigans and stand up for it. I think there's stuff happening right now that Forrest even would have gotten sick of. Why did Cynthia M say that she couldn't find Forrest and Peggy's gravesite? Susie, she went down to Temple and they said it doesn't exist, or their remains are not there. So I think she wanted to pay her respects. So Merry Christmas right back to Bobby D. Merry Christmas right back to JBR Princess. So yeah, so I think we're definitely just in the next chapter. I do think it'd be cool to have that next big one that we can all kind of get behind and try to figure out. I think this will be a blast. So, but until then, I'm going to continue to talk Forest Fen on Monday nights. That guy's going to talk all the other rides in the amusement park on Thursday nights, and we're going to have fun. And if you haven't been to the World Series of Fen, it is going to remain the name World Series of Fen because that's how it started. 3 years ago. We will have, I think, between 60 and 80. There's a lot of people up in the air.
Weeks away.
Oh my gosh. And we happen to be getting married the day before. I don't mean, oh my gosh, in a bad way. Oh my gosh, I only have 5 more weeks to plan. So yeah, I'm trying to plan. I said I was going to do a video this weekend. I didn't get to it. I'm going to try. For all of you that are coming, we want to make sure rates have gone down on everything. And so rates are really good. Get out here. If you've never been to a searcher event, oh my gosh, it's definitely going to be an interesting weekend no matter what. And you're going to see me be able to say, we're going to try to live stream because we have some family that's not going to be able to come to our wedding. So we're hoping we live stream. We might not live stream it, but it'll definitely be videoed for later. So there you go.
For anybody thinking of coming to the World Series of Fen that January 28th weekend, if you look down below, there's a link for Bally's. That is a discount code that only we have, only for our get together. So if you click that link, you put in the dates you want to stay. That is a very cheap, it's the best they could give us. They actually decreased it from what we had before. So yeah, you can book through that link or you can do your own thing, but get out here. January 28th, 29th, and 30th. It's going to be a searcher party, everybody.
Yeah, and some people have asked what happens if the world shuts down. I can tell you if the world shuts down and you can't get out here, that's just going to be the way it goes. Mike and I are getting married, I can tell you. But if things are limited in numbers, the poker rooms are open. They already have their safety put together. We might have to limit the get-togethers. We might have to be sitting in small groups of 4. We might. We're not going to worry about it until January 15th. On January 15th is when the governor is going to give out a new update of what the restrictions are. And that's where I either panic or relieved. I don't know which one yet. We will act within all of the limitations that we are handed. I can tell you though, the one good thing is if you've been invited to the wedding, we did have a decrease in our, oh, nice. Happy wife, happy life.
That's how it works. Let's go 2021. Any of you treasure hunt creators out there, what a perfect time and place to announce a new treasure hunt, but at the World Series of Fenn at the after party or on the day of the World Series of Fenn. So just putting it out there for anybody who might have ideas for treasure hunt. Alan K, thank you for that super chat. We do appreciate it. And Merry Christmas to you, Alan.
And Randy says, I might be there incognito. You never know. Randy, if you come incognito and you don't let me give you a hug or a fist bump or whatever, I would be
SpongeBob
disappointed.
outfit on.
Yeah.
JK Pioneer says, I booked my room today, I think he said. So that's awesome. Yeah, everybody's invited. Leave the drama at the door. It's going to be a big party. We can talk Forest Fenn. We can talk treasure hunts. We can talk Vegas. We can talk poker. We can talk whatever you want. We're going to get together Friday night and we're going to get together Saturday night. And I might record the whole thing, put it on YouTube. We'll see. We'll see. Depends how crazy.
Well, and I will say there was some drama the previous couple of years, and not necessarily in a bad way. Like some people thought that Toby, he had just bought his house, so I got cornered and was like, "Tell us, Toby, did he find it? Because we have to do." And I was looking at Mike, and we have our little code word. I'm like, "Mike, the Eagles landed. Help!" We have a safe word for him to come over and help me with. No, but we had all these different walks of life and people, and some people liked each other, some people didn't, but we all come to Vegas and you have fun. And the cool part is there's enough security. You don't have to be too worried. Even the worst day is, yeah, I don't know about a
bachelorette party Thursday night. Ladies, if you can get out here, let me and Kpro know. You never know what might happen. Since Candy's going to be here, you never know what might happen.
That's true. Yeah. So no, this will be a really fun weekend, and we need it after all the issues that we have had in 2020. Probably the worst year ever. The hunts over COVID, forest passes, Peggy passes, and then any other challenges that you've had. But I've had one good one. Easy.
Yeah, COVID. It's been a crazy year with COVID. We know a vaccine's coming out now. So yeah, get out here. This will be the Vegas weekend. The January 28th weekend will kind of be like, COVID's finally over. If you've been stuck home all year, come on out and have some fun.
Okay, we've gone way over. We're an hour and 30 minutes. So thank you guys all for coming and being a part of the twice a week craziness that we get to say hello to you all. If we do have any breaking news, we'll definitely go live on it. But right on things that have been, solved, etc. But I don't see that as much as we're just going to be your place to check in with us on Mondays and Thursdays. Shout out to Susie. She's been doing a pretty consistent show every Friday night. Susie, if you guys are not, I'm bringing the drama for sure. Yeah, I tend to do that too. If you have not checked into Susie Fenhaven's channel, she is fun because she's on by herself, but she just loves the chat. And she has a way, she's from Minnesota. You guys mostly know her, but for the few that don't, she is just so much fun to watch and listen because she says stuff like very, I would say offensive, but it's not because when she says it, it just sounds awesome. I mean, she's just like, no, and that's not okay. And she says it in such a way, it's really nice. She's sweet. Yeah, and I get a cookie from Alan K. AJ Rainville does Priddle Mondays. I think he's gone on hiatus because of his work schedule, but he's just going on at different times. There's so many. I mean, AGK is still a going. They actually go every day at 5. Plus, I mean, there's just so many. To choose from, but hopefully we just focus on the positive, focus on all the good as well. And like I'm saying right now, I'm just ignoring the negative and the drama that's out there. Let's just ignore it because I got a family that's all come together. I'm going to be a cowling in like 1 month, guys. I'm going to be a cowling.
Cowling in 1 month. It just got real. Okay, everybody. Yeah, there it is. But we'll keep making videos. We'll keep telling you about the new treasure hunts. There's 2 new ones we know about. We're just not too sure about them yet. We're investigating, but we're not the treasure hunt police. But we let you know what's out there. So yeah, World Series of Fenn is going to be a lot of fun. If you are coming to the World Series of Fenn, make sure you email me and let me know. We kind of need a number of how many people we're going to have. We'd like to know ahead of time how many are going to be in the tournament because they need to provide that many deal tables and dealers. And then we need to know how many people are going to be at the after party so we can provide the things we want to provide. So if you know you're coming to the weekend, to the poker tournament, whether you're playing in the tournament or not, if you're going to come by and say hi, let me know. Email me at cowlazars@gmail.com. And let me know if you're going to make it. Randy, you'll be there.
Randy, you better
We
be there.
promise not to talk about the Beacon Star, not even once.
Oh, I don't promise that, and I promise to give you
I
lots of
promise that.
alcohol. And
I promise that. All
yeah,
right.
he's that way. I'm shenanigans. I'm a bad seed.
We do a Zoom, an open Zoom, everybody, about treasure hunts. And if you want to be on that list for when we do the Zooms, just email me, cowlazars@gmail.com. I'm going to be going to bed, but what I'll do is I'll open up the Zoom tonight for anybody that wants to jump in it and talk about whatever you want. I think we are going to get back to Zooms for certain treasure hunts that seem to work better. And a shout out to everybody that was in the chapter 4 Zoom. Yeah, Randy, you were there. Did you get the solution that we missed, that we didn't find and we should have? But Thursday night, we'll go live on Christmas Eve, and I think we'll give you guys a solution to chapter 4, and we'll talk about the other 3 chapters a little bit.
Well, and the Zoomers have decided, the private group that was there, they decided to go to chapter 3, which is Forest Fenn. I don't know what it's called. Fenwick Bucks. So yeah, so that's kind of cool that they're going to dive into that one. That's going to be the next one. Yeah. So
there's an idea, Randy. Alan K says, Randy, you should go live. Your videos are awesome, and this is the only place I can comment. They're saying you should do a live video, Randy. Do a Q&A. Do a live Q&A from work on your lunch hour. That would be pretty cool. And Randy says, I haven't been in Zoom in a while. That's all right. Life gets in the way, but that's the cool thing about the treasure hunting amusement park. It's always open, and it's always there. You can put the book on the shelf and take it back down whenever you want. So where'd you send it to, Chasing? Oh, where'd you send it to, Chasing Indy? I'm assuming Facebook, huh? All right, let me see. Because Candy has a treasure hunt about the star conjunction tonight, which I did not get a chance to go out and look at, actually. Let's see. Actually, I did not get the message, Candy. What did you send me? Oh, unless you mean the one from earlier. Oh, don't forget to look at the Christmas star. Yeah, you lost me. I didn't get a message. So if you want me to read something, send it real quick. I don't see a
Redneck Express has said I'd have a higher chance of motivation if it was called Bacon Star. Just saying. No, and I want to do a shout out, and I know you guys have heard this 100 times. If you are a hardcore cipher person or really into, it's actually not even hardcore ciphers, but real hardcore puzzles that is going to take a while. But if you're into just a cool story, I actually recommend Beacon Star for maybe that 10 to 12-year-old kind of science fiction-y person, because it's such a cool story. So I know that I've read the story to my son. I don't think there's any chance he's going to get the puzzles, or at least not all of them, because none of you guys can. But he really enjoyed the story. So I think I'm going to go live after this. Very important is going to go live after this. Awesome.
Candy, it's too long. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to post a link to your video. That's the link to Candy's puzzle. What you have to do is take a picture tonight, send it to her, and I think she's going to randomly select somebody for a cool prize. Chasing Indy, what's the email address? But if you go to that video I just sent, Lucky Digger, she has all of it. And there it is, houseofcandace@gmail.com. So who's going live after we're done?
Very important.
Oh, cool. All right. Yeah. Go check it out.
And I will lastly say, what date is that poker tournament? It's Saturday, the 30th, January 30th. So about a month and a week away.
Saturday, January 30th, 2 p.m. Bailey's Las Vegas Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas. $60 buy-in, and that's it. And all the money, the casino handles all that. They do the tournament for us. And we had prizes last year. I don't really know if we're going to have extra prizes this year. We haven't really talked about it, to tell you the truth. So I think we'll just do the tournament as it is, and the money will be paid out the way it's paid out. But mostly it's a social event, everybody. It's a way for people to come together and talk about the thrill of the chase and any other treasure hunt you want to talk to.
And I will say, and it's going to be a little bit before I can talk more about it, I'm going to be back in NC for a little bit. It looks like it's going to be February. And so I am going to probably plan I'm just going to call it a searcher meetup. It won't be a Force Fenn or Theodosia or any of those. It'll be all of those. So I will get more details out when I know them. But yeah, it looks like me and the kids are going to be back for a little
Bro's
bit.
really going back for Theodosia. She doesn't want anybody to know that. Oh, was I supposed to say that out loud?
No, because it's a
Theodosia.
total lie.
Whenever I hear Theodosia, I think of Hamilton. Hamilton on Disney. Anybody? Mandalorian season 2 finale. Anybody? Pretty awesome, right? Okay. All right. That's all I got. We will probably go live Thursday. We'll have a little Christmas special for everybody Thursday night.
Family elf hashtag family elf costumes.
You may see it, both of us, in an elf costume. You just might. And yeah, we can talk about chapter 4, go over the solution as well. So yeah, that's it, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, and we hope everybody has a wonderful Christmas. Yeah, thanks for tuning in.
Good night.
All right, bye, everybody. We'll see you next time.